Happy Sunday! Oh, no, it's Saturday. I was going to say happy Sunday, but I'm a day ahead of myself. This week in practice, it's a little bit late this week, doing my This Week in Practice, but only because it was yesterday that I had sort of one of the most sort of pivotal moments of this week. This week has been amazing in practice, which is great. I've been quite a bit of a terrible human, really. I tend to find that happens if I'm doing super well in practice and, completely connected to the field and everything's going well in here. My humanness falls away a little bit. So I apologize to everyone whose emails haven't been sent yet because that'll be worked on today, hopefully. So this week in practice, we've been talking about languages, okay, and affirmations. So one of the things we do in network, it's not essential, but one of the things we that a lot of network practitioners teach is called SRI. So SRI is I always forget what it's called, but it's a respiratory breathing thing. It's I think it's somato-respiratory integration. So it's like a meditation. And the main difference between SRI and sort of, there's what we call declarations in SRI. So the main difference between a declaration and an affirmation is the type of language. So an affirmation, right, is about saying something until you believe it, okay? So you'll say things like, I'm full of energy. Whereas, even if you don't feel like you're full of energy. And the idea is the brain doesn't understand the difference between real or imagined. So you imagine yourself full of energy and then eventually you will be full of energy, right? But a declaration is the opposite. So a declaration is saying something that is true to us. So you can say something like, sometimes I feel like it'll never end. Sometimes I feel like I'm in lots of pain. Sometimes things are just super crap and horrible. And that's what a declaration is. It's saying something that's true, okay? So the reason so what this led to, right? And what really crystallized this week for me was a couple of conversations I was having. So the first one happened yesterday with a client, okay? So I'm a chiropractor and I've been a chiropractor for 10 years and I studied before that for about 7. So about 17, oh God, that sounds like a long time. Yes, for about sort of like, say sort of like, 15 to 17 years, I've been in this kind of a world as a doctor, right? And when we were at uni, everyone is called a patient, right? So there's a couple of things I like about the word. Actually, there's one thing I like about the word patient. The word patient means that you need to be patient, you need to wait and allow things to happen in their own time. So I like that, right? And that's the only reason I like the word patient. I was talking to a practice member yesterday and she said, oh, okay, look, I just want to say something. She said, I really hate it when you call me a patient or when you refer to anyone else at this practice as a patient. And she said, because I don't come to you as a patient. I don't come to you as someone to fix me. I come to you as someone who I can collaborate and talk to and, really work together on my health. And she said, I go to a GP as a patient because, in that model, I'm there to be fixed and I'm there to figure out what's wrong with me. She said, here I don't feel that. That's not what we do here. I feel like, this is a journey and a collaboration between two people. So she said, patient just doesn't resonate with me. And every time you call me a patient or you refer to someone else as a patient, she's like, it jars me. Like I can't think of what you're talking about because it jars me. And so the reason it jars her is because it doesn't resonate. It's not true to her. All right. And that's really important. And that's what we're doing. And that's the difference between a declaration and a affirmation. An affirmation is, it's actually sort of untrue. So the body and the brain kind of goes, oh, is that true? Is it? And so I had another 2 examples of this actually. So another example is I was having coffee with my husband and we were having a talk and we were talking about, being one with the universe and things. We're very deep, you see. And he said to me that he was reading a book and one of the affirmations that this guy says in this book is, the first thing he says is, I know who I am. And then it goes on and says a bunch of other stuff. But the first line of I know who I am And I said to my husband, oh, I'm like, as soon as you say that, that jars me. That doesn't, like, I get this feeling of like, and it doesn't sit well with me. And the reason for that is because I don't know who I am. I mean, the aside of that is I don't believe that we ever really need to know who I am. I believe we just need to ask the question of who am I? And that's enough, that helps. But anyway, so I don't believe that I do know who I am. So saying I know who I am, it doesn't sit nicely with my body, right? It doesn't feel good. And this is sort of the thing that kinesiology is sort of based on. So my husband's reading this book called Power versus Force. And it's all about sort of, it's a, this really real kinesiology vibe. So it's funny. So he was practicing on me the other day and he's like, all right. So he was doing some kinesiology testing. You can do this to yourself. It's really not that hard. In my book, Cosmopolitan Hippie, my first one, I've got a little one I call it my party trick. And it's all based on the same thing so he had me hold a whole bunch of different things. So, I held some milk and he muscle tested me and I was strong. And, I held a block of Cadbury chocolate and it went, pfft. Yes, don't ask why we had Cadbury chocolate in the house, but either way, I cannot eat Cadbury chocolate. My body doesn't like it. So this is the same thing of like when we are in the presence of stuff that doesn't sit well with us, it weakens us. It weakens our body because it's not true. It's not helpful for our body, and the body says, no, I don't need that. Okay. So for me, that's what I feel an affirmation does. And language does it too. So this is what my practice member was saying to me. She's like, the word patient does not resonate with me. I am not a patient. I don't come here to be fixed. I think you need to use a different word. And it was really useful for me hearing that because I've been trying really hard to change my language around that and call the people in my practice and the people I work with practice members or clients and not use the word patient. Because again, I don't feel that the traditional idea of doctor-patient relationship really happens here. This is not you come here, I fix you, and then you go away, and that's and you come back when you need me again. It's more about a collaborative effect, collaboration of how do we work together, and how can I help guide you, and how can I be here for you while you fix yourself. Not that there is anything to fix. So that was what my practice member was saying. She was saying, this doesn't resonate with me. That's what my body was saying when I was holding a block of chocolate. It was, this doesn't resonate with me. This isn't good for me. And it's what I was feeling when my husband said this affirmation starts off with, I know who I am. I'm like, that doesn't resonate with me. So that's the problem I have with affirmations, is that we say something to ourselves that is fundamentally not true, and we just kind of hope that we fake it till we make it. And I hate fake it till you make it. I just hate it. I believe you show up authentically as yourself every day, and then see what happens. I think showing up authentically and trying your best is more important than faking it till you make it. So that was what we've been talking about in the practice this week, is what resonates, and perhaps using what resonates with us and going from there and changing our mindset from ease and not forcing ourselves into patterns that don't sound really great for us, that don't resonate for us, and just kind of fake it and pretend until eventually it does feel good. So I'd love to know what you guys think, and if affirmations work for you, and if fake it till you make it works for you, and what experience you've had with that, and what experience you've had with with declarations and actually meeting yourself where you are as well. And have you played with those things, and if you tried that? And if you haven't, I urge you to give yourself when you're doing a meditation, or if you're doing an affirmation, instead of saying I'm full of energy, say sometimes I feel like I have no energy, and see what resonates with you, see what happens in your body, and get back to me. I'd be interested to know. And so I'll see you guys soon when I next have something interesting to say. But I hope you guys have a fantastic weekend. It's Ballarat, it's white night tonight. Fingers crossed it doesn't rain, because if it rains, my husband said we're not going, which would be sad. But I hope you guys are all really well. So